Good morning and welcome back, tea drinking pussies of Britain and the rest of the world who may be listening. Rather than my usual Islam videos, I thought I'll talk about something which is happening right now in my life. Right now, I'm off to a King's criminal court to give evidence against the guy who tried to kill me in the middle of last year. You may remember if you watched my series, The Risks of Speaking Truth, after I'd done a series of exposés on the problem of jihadis, Islamism in Britain, I was accosted outside my front door by one of their little stooges, who snuck up behind me, hit me on the back of the head with a telescopic metal baton, splitting my head open from here to here. And then while I was on my knee, I fell to one knee after this, he got something around my neck and tried to hoist me up on it and strangle me. Fortunately, I managed to get a hand in, so he couldn't completely restrict my airwaves, and after about 10 minutes I managed to fight him off and I was on my feet with my fists up. Now he obviously thought I was going to run away, but I didn't. I stood up to him. I didn't offer him any violence. I guarded my head like this to make sure the many strikes with the baton that came my way didn't hit me. I did get hit once, but we'll go through that. And my point that I'm making is people have lost faith in this country, in the justice system and the police, the local services, and they don't do anything. They don't protect the law-abiding, decent people like us. Or so you would seem. I'm going to go through why we can make them work. We can make them punish criminals if we have willpower and we are consistently there doing the best that we can do. We can put them in a situation where they cannot say no. And that's what happened here. So, we're outside my flat now. He's no longer strangling me, he's now in front of me. I've got my hands up and he's hitting me with his baton and I'm blocking. And I managed to get an arm so that the baton's underneath my arm and I've grabbed his shirt like that and he can't move. And he was saying, let go of me. And I said, let go of the baton and we'll talk. And he said, okay. So I let go of him, dropped my hands, and he did actually hit me one more time. That's the only strike he managed to get on me when I was facing him. But he was so exhausted by this point, it'd been maybe 15 minutes, that the baton dropped from his hand. And he looked like he was going to throw up. He was so out of breath that he could barely stand up. Bearing in mind, this guy's naked. He's wearing a dressing gown and shoes and nothing, right? He's completely naked underneath. And I was fine, even though I've got blood coming out of my head, a slight concussion, adrenaline pumping was keeping me going. And once I recognised he dropped the baton, he was no longer a threat to me, he looked terrified. His eyes were wide like Psycho, but he looked scared. I think he thought I was going to attack him, and I could well have. He was so out of breath, he probably would have been knocked out immediately. But I didn't do that. I spoke to him, and I said, civilised adults don't behave like this. This is unacceptable criminal behaviour. You can't do this in front of decent people, your neighbours and their children, who are all looking on. You will be punished for this. This is a big mistake. And he fled. And I called the police. Now, this is at the end of a 5-year campaign. I saw this guy many times. He broke my property. He smashed my front door. He was stealing my mail, writing to people in my name, incurring me costs, using catalogue services to buy things to his flat with my credit card details that he stole out of my mail. He shouted at my parents, threatened and intimidated my 72-year-old mother for parking in my space. He tried to claim his space and my space, because we both had one. And he was going around telling the neighbours that I was some hardened drug dealer, some gangster criminal, to try and make his side of things look better. And this entire time that he was doing all this stuff, following me when I was litter picking, accosting the people I used to litter pick with, intimidating them so they no longer wanted to go out, the entire time I reported everything, every single little thing to the police. Now, the police weren't particularly friendly or happy about this, because they always used to say, well, there's no evidence. Have you got any evidence, sir? And I used to say, look, you're the police, you figure it out, you get the evidence, I'm the victim. If I had evidence, wouldn't that be suggestive of me having set the thing up to begin with, like he is claiming? And this went on for a number of years, until the time outside my door, when there were witnesses. I was wearing my body cam, and there was CCTV in the hallway, which the housing association eventually put up from me begging them and basically forcing them to do it. And here we are 6 years later, Now, I am currently in court while you're watching this, and I'm going to give evidence against this guy, along with the 2 eyewitnesses. We're going to go through the CCTV footage, and this guy is going to get sent down, probably for 6 to 10 years minimum. And my point is this: had I not been so committed to finding justice, had I not been so consistently willing to stand up for myself, despite the police trying to put me off, telling me I shouldn't be reporting all these things because I'm wasting police time, telling me I've probably made the whole thing up because I'm paranoid, or when my housing association said that I should move out and that I'm causing him a problem because he's gay, that's what he said. His excuse was, I'm attacking him the whole time because I'm a Christian and he's gay and I don't like gays. Obviously a load of nonsense. By the way, the housing association eventually putting those cameras up, even then, they managed to screw it up massively because the guy smashed the cameras with his baton so that he could hide from me and sneak up on me. When the police asked for the footage from the cameras, guess what? They weren't recording anything. They're still out there smashed now to this very day. So my point is this: even though the police seem totally listless and useless and not very helpful, and the housing association battled me, I wrote to my MP and the housing people wrote back and said I was paranoid. This was all in my head. Despite he said he was going to kill me, and I think he is going to try and do it soon, and he did. Now I get my day in court. And I'm very confident that I'm going to see him sent down. They offered me a screen, by the way. They said, do I want to give my witness statement from behind a screen? I said, no. I said, I want to look this guy in the eye. I want to look him in the eye when he gets sent down for 10 years and smile at him. That's exactly what I tend to do. So, the point is this. Yes, we have hopeless services and the police have no money and they can't be bothered with street-level violent crime. That much is obvious. Unless you're gay or a Muslim and there's some politically motivated victory for them, some financial motive for them, they're not going to be very interested. And the Housing Association have got their own problems and they don't want to necessarily get involved, especially when the guy is saying he's gay, because it's a wokeness thing. So, if you are consistently willful and you don't give up, you stand up for yourself and report every single crime, never run away, never ever show cowardice, and keep in mind, the long-term game is where you can win. These guys are not smart enough to strategize. They think they are. They think they're so fucking clever. This is going to prove they're not as clever as they think they are. And the way to put these guys behind bars where they belong and save our streets from this crime wave, this jihadi funded nightmare that we seem to be living in, is to band together, and if you see something, give your witness statement and be an eyewitness in court. If something happens to you, report every single thing and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Now, don't offer violence. This is another thing. Plenty of times I could have offered this guy violence. I could have snuck up behind him. I could have done a million things to him. But no. British values are stoic. They are not violent. So even though I stood up to him and I made him know that I wasn't going to run away and I would continually report everything despite his many threats that he did follow through with, in the long term, I know my witnesses are going to turn up because he wasn't around to intimidate them. He's been banned from this whole town. My testimony is going to back up the evidence that the police found. He even admitted that the weapon was his and it had his fingerprints and my blood on it. And we have minimal CCTV footage, as well as his previous denials from the last 5 years to prove that he's probably lying. All that's going to culminate in a good result for me, God willing. So I'll let you know when that happens, but just be mindful. Yes, it's looking bad in this country, and it's easy to lose hope. So that means we have to up our game and be courageous. We have to be stronger. And in the long-term game, we can beat these guys. We can take this country back and return peace and safety to ourselves and our neighbours. And show these fuckers that we mean business. That's exactly what we should do. So, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something and you listened to what I said. Be brave, report everything, make sure there's eyewitnesses and video evidence. If at first you don't succeed, be committed to justice. You will have to make sacrifices in the short term, but in the long term, we will be victorious. So that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed that. God bless you all, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now. Determination, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Determination, bravery and patience. The 3 defining British values that we can use, and we will beat these guys. So that's all for now. Pray for me. God bless you all. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.